This is PJNET.TV, and this is my perspective and comments. In this video segment of My Perspective and Comments, we cover politics, society here and abroad, and the events of the day that are shaping our nation. PJNET.TV, My Perspective and Comment, coming to you with a worldview, one nation under God. Hello and welcome to My Perspective and Comments. And I'd like to start out right now and talk a little bit regarding an update on COVID-19 and what has been going on. Well, we have a new variant out right now, Omicron, and it appears that it's very infectious, and it seems to be less virulent. And so the symptoms are, in many cases, either asymptomatic or almost like a cold. And it's not as deadly as what we've been seeing with the Delta variant. So this could very well be, if this holds the way it is right now, this Omicron variant, that this might be light at the end of the tunnel here, because if this is not is deadly, very infectious, fine. In fact, a lot of the viruses they respond that way, infectious but not as severe as these variants multiply and new variants come on board. So this could very well be some good news, and again, it will help the population to get to that immunity, enough that herd immunity, where we can finally once and for all get a handle on this. We are seeing more and more therapeutics that are coming on board. So now we have more and more things in the toolkit, so to speak, to to keep people out of trouble. And with this Omicron the variant, this could very well bode well for getting through this and getting beyond this pandemic. Because once again, we're talking about, although you're hearing a lot about the hospitals of filling up, there's a lot of other factors that are going on here too. We are in the middle of, especially in the East Coast, we are in that winter time frame. So not only is it just COVID, but we're seeing RSV, we're seeing just colds, and those winter afflictions that come on. So it's not all, they're talking about, the hospitals are getting overrun, but let's step back and say, wait a minute now, this is not all COVID. There are a lot of other things that are going on that we see in the winter months, especially on the East Coast right now. So again, we'll let some time go on, but if Omicron, and it appears that there are areas right now that Omicron is becoming the dominant variant, and if that's the case, then things could be looking some, as I said, light at the end of the tunnel. I like to have us focus a bit right now on New York and the new dictator, now that Andy Cuomo has gotten the boot. We've got someone else now that wants to take up that dictator mantle. Kathy Hochul, the new interim governor right now, and she has put a mandate out that in New York you will wear a mask when you go indoors. If you go to a grocery store, you go to a department store, you go to the movies, you go indoors, you're mandated, you will wear a mask. And the New Yorkers are sick of the mandates and being told you gotta do this and that. And right now we're seeing this mandate. There are a quarter of the New York counties that are refusing to enforce Kathy Hochul's mask mandate, and that she's trying to impose. So interim Governor Kathy Hochul is getting some pushback, and finally there's more and more New Yorkers that are saying, no more, we've had enough. And she's also tried to put some teeth in it, and these counties are saying we're not going to have anything of it. She's saying right now that if it's reported that a business is not requiring proof of a vaccine or wearing a mask, that they could be fined $10,000 per violation from December 13th to January 15th. So we see leadership, county executives, and saying our county, no, we're not going to enforce this. And so we're seeing some pushback, and I believe we're going to start seeing more. In fact, we are seeing more and more governors are starting to get some backbone and push back and put legislation together that says, no, we're not going to mandate and force you to wear a mask. And also it seems to be moving into the schools right now where there are some protections. Now, I mentioned that mostly in the red states. The blue states, they're all for tyranny and telling you what you're going to do or what they're going to mandate. But right now, more and more governors, and in this case in New York, the county executive, the leadership there at the county executive level is saying, no, we're not going to have our police department enforcing any. We're not going to send out the policy police to hassle businesses. That we're not going to do that. So again, a quarter of New York counties have said no. Now we have, again, keeping in New York, we have the outgoing mayor in New York City, de Blasio, who is now saying, mandating 5 years and up. If you want to go to a movie or you want to go to a restaurant, if you're a young child, 5 and above, if you don't have the vaccine, nope. So he's de Blasio, his final edicts before he exits the mayor's office, before the new mayor comes on board. He wants to put his thumb on New York City residents. But again, there's more and more protests that are taking place in New York City, and I think they're getting, they've had their fill of de Blasio. So we'll see if the new guy that comes on board here for that takes over the reins there in New York City will start to cut out these edicts that de Blasio has been putting into place. Time will tell. I'd like to talk about the Amtrak. The Amtrak has suspended the COVID-19 vaccine mandates for their employees. The chief executive said that there will be no mandates for vaccine, but they are still going to have in place testing if you're unvaccinated. But again, the mandate for the vaccine, they're suspending that. I'd like to talk a little bit about some politics and about I've talked to you here on my perspective and comments a couple, 3 weeks ago discussing these sellouts in the Republican Party. But I'd like to focus on two right now that you're probably familiar with or have heard people commenting on these particular representatives. Liz Cheney, Republican Wyoming, and Rep. Adam Kinzinger, Illinois. And this past week, they joined the Democrats to hold Mark Meadows in contempt, former chief of staff for President Trump. So again, I can say right now that these two definitely are earmarked to get the boot, and Liz Cheney definitely she won't be back. She's done after her term. She's out, and I think that Wyoming's going to give her a resounding boot and say we've had enough of you selling the GOP out and Republicans right along here. She might as well join the Democrat Party because she's doing Pelosi's bidding when it comes to this January 6th investigations. So again, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger voted to hold Mark Meadows in contempt. I'd like to talk a little bit more politics here. This time a senator has been in the news, and I guess he is kind of a fly in the ointment when it comes to Joe Biden's Build Back Better debacle, boondoggle, and he's frustrating many on the left here. Who am I talking about? Joe Manchin has been disrupting this new boondoggle of the Build Back Better plan, or as I like to refer to it as building bad bigger. And right now there seems to be the brakes that are being put on this spend and spend and spend plan. Spend into oblivion is what you're taking our nation right down the toilet with all these, the Build Back Better plan. They're talking about maybe 1 or 2 trillion. Try 5 or 6 trillion when all's said and done. But hey. Right now, Joe Manchin is pretty adamant that he's not going down bankrupting, being part of the bankrupting of America. And plus, Manchin wants to be reelected there, West Virginia. So he knows what a vote for this Build Back Better is going to, what it'll cost him. And he won't be senator if he goes down this road. I'd like to talk about, and again, we've talked regarding New York and what's been going on there. But I like to just take a step back. We saw a lot of stuff happening. That COVID changed a lot of situations when it came to the voting integrity and how that all played out. But what we're seeing now and what we're hearing more and more, This San Francisco mayor just spoke out about the crime and that's taking place in the streets daily, of the anarchy with criminals acting, well, won't even say acting out. They're on the streets, they're hurting people, and this mayor, San Francisco mayor, who was all for defunding the police, have now said, wait a minute, enough is enough here. And now she's talking about refunding, funding the police department. And we're starting to see the wake up in other areas right now of, the big defund police. And now they're seeing, criminals are coming out of the woodwork, and, hey, nothing's stopping them. You've got the, what's the smash and grab, I guess they call it, brazenly walking right into stores and looting. And nobody's stopping them. And when this continues, you just keep getting more and more. And, we're not just talking about snatch and grabs, but we're talking about, hurting people, killing people. And, once crime starts, it escalates. And that's what we've been seeing nationwide right now. And can you believe it? San Francisco. And now even this past week, Pelosi's talking about, there's a problem. Yeah. Before it was defund. No, there was nothing to see here, no problem. But now it's wreaking havoc in the residents. And I think that these politicians are starting to see and starting to feel the heat and the pushback of residents saying, we're not going to live here if this continues. We're getting out of this this situation, and we don't want our kids put in danger. And so we're seeing maybe a wake up call in the nation, and people in this country are going to start demanding that law and order come back to America. I'd like to talk about one other incident and an example here that was, I believe, the Epoch News reported on this. But a Chicago father is dead. He was out in his yard putting up Christmas lights, and these couple of suspects came up and started beating him with some objects. I don't know, a club or did they? But they just kept beating him, and they killed him. And this was here a father in Chicago, just putting up Christmas lights, and his daughter was outside there with him and witnessed what took place. A neighbor came, or she was screaming, and a neighbor came and tried to help, but it was too late. And I mentioned this report from Epoch News, but we're starting to see this seems to be a common occurrence that's taking place now. Innocent people just trying to go about their day, and we have the criminal element taking over a street, taking over a home, or going into retail entities and just going and robbing. So there could very well be a demand, a cry from across the country that this craziness of defunding the police and letting the criminals jailbreak, letting them out of jail, and when they should be locked up. So it's a one-way street here. Let everybody out of jail, and they bring the crime right to the streets. And when you start hearing about people getting arrested 3, 4, 5 times in one day, and it's just come in, appearance ticket, back out, crime again, brought to the appearance ticket, crime, going out. It's just a revolving door. Nobody's going to jail. It's just, hey, don't do that. Here's an appearance ticket to come to court down the road. And they go right out the courthouse door and start crime right again. And that's what we've been seeing and hearing throughout the nation, is people getting busted 3 or 4 times in a day, and they just get released out into the population to continue this crime spree. And when there's no consequences, and when the court systems are in a weak state, in a weak place where there is no real justice, you're going to continue to get crime elevating, which we're seeing nationwide. So we'll be talking about more in seeing where legislation and where leadership says enough is enough. And when you start hearing a mayor in San Francisco, that far left mayor, starting to say, no, this isn't, this has to stop. This crime spree has to stop, and we're going to do something about it. Then I guess there may be a tipping point. We'll see. I'd like to talk about a governor who, had some good things to say early on a year ago. She stood up and for her people. But she kind of got weak-kneed here about 5, 6, 7 months ago. And I'm talking about South Dakota's Governor, Kristi Noem. And she got into a little, must have been distracted or actually not distracted. Looks like big business had some pressure or some influence on her decision, but she had been pushing to want legislation about what's been going on with boys competing against girls in high school and in college, and she had legislation on her desk, but she said, "Oh no, you need to change the language, and there needs to be some changes. I can't sign it as it is." So it dropped. Well, looks like she's had a change of heart, maybe because of this transgender who was winning. Taking all the wins here in swimming, but she's come out with legislation now that will put an end, to boys competing against girls, and it's called the bill is an act to protect fairness in women's sports, and she brought this bill forward a couple days ago, December 14th. So we'll see how this goes. I'm so sure that once the legislature approves, that she will sign it and can put that into law. I'd like us to talk, or I'd like us right now to hear from another governor that has been standing tall, standing strong. In fact, kind of leading the nation right now, and that's Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis. And just this past week, he came forward with pushing more legislation in this woke act, and pushing back against the CRT. And I'd like you to take a look here as he discusses putting some some legislation together to stop what's been going on in our school system right now when it comes to this woke culture and pushing the CRT. So here, take a look at Ron DeSantis discussing the legislation that he is pushing and will sign into law here in Florida. Here's Ron DeSantis.